You know who made it.
And we are live from LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. It's Revening's Wednesday special daytime episode. Very excited to have on two very special women. We have Heidi, Solomon-Orlick, and Randi-Sue Deckard, who I'm going to be bringing on here in just a moment. But first, really quick, a few announcements from our sponsors because we have really great topics I want to get right into. So if you can, make sure you're entering to win prizes throughout. But I want to know who's here tuning in. I see at least 2 people on YouTube. Who's there on LinkedIn? Chime in. Let us know, where are you tuning in from? We want to send love to those who are tuning in from Florida or who have evacuated and have been impacted by Hurricane Milton and earlier Helene. But we'll be sending love to you all week, and especially today, sending this QR code on both episodes tonight, which will just take you right to the Feeding Tampa Bay Hurricane Relief page, where you can make a donation to those who are going to be directly impacted the most. So we'll be keeping that up throughout the show. Keep an eye out for it. And if you haven't already subscribed for the newsletter, it actually hasn't gone out yet today, but it will very soon. And so check it out. And you can do that by going to revening.com and just going to subscribe to the newsletter. And of course, I've got the personal branding live streaming coaching program, and you can enter to win a month free of that today. And if you don't enter to win and you just want to join for the full 3 months, you can do so and check out and learn more about it just by going again to revening.com. But the prices we're giving away for this daytime episode are the high-level personal swag pack. So you'll get 2 shirts, a water bottle, and a hat. And then we'll reach out to you to make sure that we get the right size and everything. So it will be personalized to you, but tag High Level in the comments to enter to win that swag pack. I'll be at the High Level Summit in October and speaking on a panel about being a high-level affiliate. It's been a really great experience. Would love to help you become an affiliate if it's something you would like to do, but it's really fun to help businesses get set up with their CRM and their marketing tools for only $97 a month. So you get all the features I could go on, but I digress. Prize 2 is my prize of the 1 month free with my program, Taking Up Space Online, where we go over my glass ceiling shatterer framework, how to go live, how to create video. That's a really big one right now, especially with the new TikTokification of LinkedIn on the mobile app. People want to know how to edit professional videos very easily. And so I'm doing that more as a service now, but also in the coaching program, we're going over it and you can get a month free. So join us. We got a group there that meets 3 days a week. And then we got hashtag revenue for our guest prize that I'm going to just bring them in here in a moment so they can tell you more about what they're giving away. And then we'll get into the hot topics. But if you're putting in hashtag revenue, you're going to be entering to win Randy's prize of 1 hour of complimentary coaching on AI and the use of sales and leadership daily. Oh man, that's a really good one, Randy. And then the other one is 1 hour of sales consulting session with Heidi Solomon-Orlick. And you'll also get her book, Heels to Deals, which I have in my cabinet over there. And it's just a bunch of different recaps of different women in sales. So we'll be getting into that and more. So let me bring in both guests here. They are welcome to the show, Randy and Heidi. Thanks for coming back on.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Couldn't be more happy to have both of you here. Heidi, you had this brilliant idea this morning that we should be sending people somewhere where they can contribute and help those in need in the hurricane, because of course it's so hard for me in Ohio and you all in other places where we're not in Florida, but we're seeing what you all are going through and we want to help. And there are ways we can do that. So, we just went to work and found a good place to help, you make a donation to Feeding Tampa Bay. And it just turned out after I found that, Heidi's like, that's a great one because you and Randy both were in Tampa Bay. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you were actually volunteering for Feeding Tampa Bay?
Yeah, so Randy and I, Melissa Gaglione, hosted a fabulous event in January, the yacht sales party. And Randy and I were there. And I had discovered this organization and decided to volunteer my time. They support people in need, both homeless or just individuals from underrepresented communities that need support and help. And so when you and I talked this morning, Jesse, one, I just love that, when women put our mind to it, like within 10 minutes, it was like, oh my gosh, what about, if we do something to support our community in Tampa and throughout Florida, and you just jumped on it within like 10 minutes. We had this whole thing organized, and I just love that when women come together, that we just make things happen. So thanks for doing that, Jesse, and just jumping right in.
Absolutely. And Randy, tell me about your experience with Feeding Tampa Bay and, all that.
So I just know it from, I did not volunteer when I was in Tampa, but I know it from friends who actually live in the area and have volunteered, and they said it was a good organization. I just know how hard it is sometimes to trust when, there's an impact, like how do you know your dollars are going to a good place, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of those places, that your dollars will have a direct impact and it's not a scam.
Yeah, such a great point. Yeah. And in the Women Wave community, which if there's any ladies listening who want to join a free WhatsApp group of women in sales, let me know.
It's amazing.
Thank you. Both of you are in it. And I love having both of you there. But was it Leslie Vanetz who spoke up and said the same thing of making sure that we're giving to a legit organization. And this is one of those legit organizations. So Feeding Tampa Bay, you can scan that QR code. I'll be showing it throughout the episode. Support those in need who are in line of Hurricane Milton, which is going to be making landfall. Unfortunately, it sounds like tonight.
Pretty soon, tonight.
Yeah.
In the wee hours. So sending love there. Hopefully you can all get out if you need to. But with that, both of you gave away prizes. And I mentioned earlier before you were on here that I was going to let you explain a little bit of what people are getting if they put hashtag revenue in and they win this at the end of the episode so one winner will get it all. But I'm going to put it back up on the screen. And Randy, could you tell us a little bit about what people will get?
Yeah, so I've gone down an AI rabbit hole, and I want everyone to take advantage of this personally or professionally. So I can help you create everything from a custom GPT to help you with daily, professional tasks or even things personally that you may be doing. But I would love to share how, I use sales from a discovery bot perspective, writing RFPs, messaging, and how you can get time back in your day. love AI and want to make sure that people have a great co-pilot experience.
Wow, what a really great hour to spend. And so definitely put in hashtag revenue to get that time with Randy. We'll get into the topics here and you'll see more about why you want to do that. And then Heidi, they're going to get your book for free signed and an hour with you. Thank you so much. Could you tell people a little bit what to expect?
Yeah. So Heels to Deals, it just has been such a rewarding project to work on. We launched the book 3 years ago. It won a Silver Stevie last year for Book of the Year. And as you mentioned, it's a compilation of highlighting the journeys of women from very diverse backgrounds and communities that entered the world of sales. And it's really meant to not only share some tips and their stories, but to encourage other women to consider a career in sales to achieve financial and economic independence. So yes, you'll get a signed copy of that. And I've been getting a lot since I kind of transitioned from my full-time corporate job last year into, leaning into entrepreneurship. I've been getting a lot of requests from individuals that are looking for additional support, especially for early stage careers, SDRs, AEs, that are just getting their career started in sales, to help them out and provide some guidance and support and mentorship. So I thought that might be a good thing to offer up. But even if you're not new to sales and you're, in mid-level management, wanting to take your career to the next level, would love to help and support you in any way possible.
Yeah, I mean, both of these women have been there, done that. So we have so much to learn. And I want to get into that. And before we do, which there's one more thing, I'm going to put up the 2-minute clock. And both of you have been on the show. So you've both done the 2-minute full life story from birth to what brought you to now. But for those who may have missed that episode, which you should definitely go back to, there's 2 different episodes you both came on. So glad to have you together. But for those who may have missed, or for those who saw that and are just looking to learn more about you, could you both please share a little bit more about yourself within 2 minutes and maybe a little bit of birth to what brought you to now? And we'll go alphabetical order and start with you, Heidi.
Oh, well, so I was, 2 minutes. Oh, I feel pressure. So born in Ohio, raised in California. My father, who was my idol, was the best salesperson I ever met. Was really the one that encouraged me to consider a career in sales. But like so many other women I know, I ended up falling into a career in sales. It wasn't necessarily an intentional career choice. I focused on the BPO industry, business process outsourcing, and I've spent 3.5 decades, so just over 35 years. I've closed well over $1 billion in sales in the time that I've been in the industry. I've been blessed with traveling the world and working with some of the greatest clients. But I'm really blessed to have had the opportunity to work with people from different cultures and create thousands of jobs around the world. GirlzWhoSell was born as a way to democratize professional sales and build the largest pipeline of diverse early stage female sales talent. Our goal is to get more women into sales because it's not only the right thing to do, but it is good for business. So we have our academy. We're 100% subsidized by corporate sponsorship. So if you happen to have a company that has a strong DE&I initiative and you're looking to diversify your sales team, would appreciate you reaching out. Best way to learn more about me is to reach out on LinkedIn.
That's amazing. I need to cover you up. So let's switch the clock back up. You did it under the 2 minutes. Thank you so much for sharing all of that and for coming back on. And Randy, I'll put the 2-minute clock back up. No pressure. Tell us a little bit more on you.
Yeah, so I was born in Canada, but lived abroad most of my life. Most of it was spent in Aberdeen, Scotland. So I can get on my Scottish accent for you. I was very introverted as a young child, loved books, loved to read, and academically, you know, um, I think the word was gifted. So I actually went to school to be a clinical lab scientist and thought I wanted to be a forensic pathologist. From the get-go, my husband of 25 years, very early on, is like, you should go into sales, you should go into sales, you should go into sales. I resisted. It was not a career path for me. So the first 15 years, I did research and led very large labs and did things like make HIV easier to be diagnosed, so less people would be impacted through blood transfusions. I know, really exciting stuff. But when I took the foray into the commercial world, the last 15 years, I quickly accelerated and I realized that being a scientist was my superpower. So data-driven process, iterating, quality improvement. And I just absolutely love teaching and coaching people. So being able to build teams and drive revenue is fun for me. And I just want other people to realize that this is a choice because it was never, ever, ever shared with me. And as introverted as I was when I was young, I'm not that way now. I've never met a stranger. That's what I say now, but I wasn't like that when I was younger. So I kind of flipped.
Oh, wow. I love that. And I feel like we could be both too. I'm a little bit of
Oh,
both.
at times, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. Let's get into this first topic. And I'm going to put back up, well, we've got the comment to win keyword. So make sure you're joining or you're commenting to win. We'll give away the prizes at the end of the episode. But also we want to keep a focus on feeding Tampa Bay. But Randy, I believe, this is your topic
Yes.
on
Yeah.
women leaders in sales, revenue growth. Could you kick us off with a little bit of your thoughts of women leaders in sales?
Yes. So, first off, super excited to be able to have this conversation, especially because it's Women in Sales Month. But, the first thing is that, I'm a data-driven person, which I already shared. Did you know that companies that have women sales leaders typically experience 50% higher profit growth? And that when women sales leaders are compared to male sales leaders, women typically have a higher win and quota attainment rate by as many as 3%, which is significant. But, and from a sales leadership perspective, only 26% of women are in a sales leadership role. The amount of women in sales is about 50%, and we lose a lot of women in sales for a number of reasons. And I think that's because, work-life balance, maybe you have a family, maybe you've had a bad experience. So I think it's interesting that there's this drop-off. And I'm sure that if we were in a room and people could raise their hands, and if I said, how many of you, have been at a conference and there's 2 to 3 women for every 10 men, there would be a lot of hands raised, right? So that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about. And I think the skill set that women have and the reason that why we are so good at sales, the first thing was already discussed, is collaboration. Women, are so good at pulling people together to collaborate. And when you get a group of women, like we talked earlier, you just get shit done. The other thing is that we're, empathetic, and that we really make people feel seen, valued, and heard, which is so important through the sales conversation and process. And the other thing is we actively listen. Women are much better listeners than men. There is a reason we have one mouth and 2 ears. And I just, I just think those skill sets are really what make and set us apart. And, I think that the biggest thing and the conversation that I wanted to start and, party in the comments on this is like, how do we change this, right? This is why Heidi's really passionate about this, why I'm passionate about this. And, it starts with us. When you're a leader, it's like lifting others as we rise. When you have a seat at the table, making sure that your hiring is diverse, and then grabbing those male allies. One of the other astounding facts to me is that my biggest supporters have always been a male ally, because earlier in my career, women leaders always saw me as competition. And I knew the type of leader that I wanted to be, and it was not that. It's lifting others and supporting others as they rise. But we all play a part. And, so it's really important for you to not only find allies, but also think about how you're acting and what you can do to contribute to lift others and rise.
So powerful. And I know that that's always a really popular topic in the Women Wave community. When we do the Lift As You Rise, it's just like, do a shout out, like make a post about someone. That could be your post for the day. Who inspires you? Who could you lift? Who's 3 months behind you or 3 months ahead of you? Or 30 years ahead of you? Who can you lift? So powerful, Randy. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see. So there were a couple comments. And first of all, Beth was saying, you're doing a great job celebrating women in sales, Randy. And I totally agree. And then we have Shawanda. Thank you for being here. She says, we must continue to inform and educate on the stats and changing the status quo. A lot of us do not know. It's so true. And I'm so glad you shared the stats. I was one of them before. I joined the mission and journey to getting more women in sales and moving up to leadership. We got this. Let's go, Shawanda. I love that.
Yeah, Shawanda has been part of Girls Who Sell as a mentor since the inception of the program. And Shawanda, the support that you have brought to the table and is just astounding. I think sharing the stats is really important. I've heard some different stats, that are a little bit lower, Randy. So I think we need some new data, right? To really, because it's encouraging to me that you're saying that women represent 50%, because I've seen it closer to 36%. But as you start overlaying some other things like women in tech sales or women of color, the statistics just decline rapidly to single digit numbers. And that's just something that we need to be able to solve for. And I think what you said is so incredibly important, Randy, is that the intentionality of sales leadership in making diversity of focus is where it starts. It's got to be a top-down initiative.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it always goes back to leadership, right? If leadership isn't leading the way, it's really hard for anyone else to change things. But yeah, all such great topics. So women in sales leadership revenue growth. So let's talk about this a little bit, because I know there are some stats out there too. I don't know what they are, but related to how when you do have women in sales leadership, it's more profitable. You bring in more revenue. Also, like, women are a lot of the time the buyers, definitely in the consumer area, but even in the B2B space, because women are a lot of time marketers. Marketers are typically spending a lot of money, and I don't know. And now we're seeing more women in sales. It's getting better, but I don't know. What would either of you say on the whole revenue growth side of women in sales leadership?
So I would say, and like the stats that I shared, of course, it's a sampling. It's, as you mentioned, when you go to tech, it does drop. But, one of the other stats was that if you have a diverse sales team, meaning, you have, women on that team as well, you're going to have 15% higher profitability overall for the organization, right? So I think it's really important that, it's the skill sets that women bring and helping drive revenue, which I spoke to, the collaboration, the empathy, the active listening, the relationship building, which I didn't mention, but it is also one of the stats, is really what enables women to naturally be able to come into a sales role and, you know, learn the market, learn the product, but those traits, you know, are proven to be very valuable in sales, because sales is just a conversation. Never forget, you know, it's people buying from people. And if you are a people person and you truly want to help, that's what helps, you know, move. And of course, having a strong point of view, all those things. But that is why women it's just naturally easier for them to walk in and succeed and really drive revenue. I think one of the things that, you know, like I said, bothered me the most about that stat is that, you know, half of the women and it's about half women in sales and men, according to the paper that I looked at. But as women rise, that number drops, right? And it was like 26%. And I know it's lower in tech because I was at a CRO summit earlier this year and I looked around, and if it was 2 to every 10, I'd be amazed, right? I was at DHIS in Park City, and I think it was 1, which is a digital health, like one female leader to every 10 men, right? Like definitely outnumbered. And I think that, you know, how companies treat women in the workplace is really what is driving that drop off, right? A lot of us honestly get burnt out, fed up, you know, because of the way we're treated and the expectations, you know, put on us. And when you're trying to have work-life balance, you know, especially if you have kids, it's challenging. And then just some of the stuff that we've had to deal with. When I think about some of the things I dealt earlier in my career and still some of the things I've seen today, I'm like, I cannot believe that happened in 2024. And like I said, where I've seen change happen is when males speak up, right? You know, not only women speaking up, but men speaking up, that stops it quicker than anything.
Yeah.
I agree. May I add one thing? All of that is so important. Yeah, I believe that it's interesting to see the sort of paradigm shift that's happening. And you bring up a very good point, Jesse, is that on the buyer side, as women are progressing into leadership and decision-making positions, the buyer groups are more and more female. So I'm just going to put a little positive spin on it, because I had a conversation with a woman the other day who was considering moving from a client services role, farmer role, into a new logo, but it's so male dominated in my industry. And I've always said that's your superpower, right? Like, especially with a female buying group. The thing about being the only woman in the room is that you are the only woman in the room, and you can leverage that as a competitive differentiator. So I don't know, just want to, because I do think that there is the relationship that women can develop buying level is uniquely different. And I don't think you know, some people might get their like spine, or I don't know, hair curled on the back of their neck. But I always leveraged the fact that I was a woman and used it as a competitive differentiator for all the reasons that Randy mentioned that made me really good at sales. So I say go for it, right?
Go for it. Yeah. No, I love that. And as you guys were talking, I already said this earlier pre-show, I need to get you guys out of my vocabulary. I'm from the Midwest. So I'm working on saying you all.
Yeah.
But as you all were talking about women in leadership there, I couldn't help but think of a stat, and I don't think there is one, of how many women CROs are there, you know, and that's such a low number. It would be great to see more women in the CRO position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough is the answer.
Well, our second topic is sales leadership, empowering women's professional growth. So we've got a lot of women who are, you know, hitting that sort of rung. What is the name of it? There's a
broken rung, and that's where the real issue, the real concern is.
Could you talk to us a little bit about it? So that and kick us off on this sales leadership conversation to empower more young leaders to climb their way up?
Yeah, I mean, first I think it starts with solving for the pipeline issue that we have. So, we need to position sales as a viable career choice and encourage women, especially from diverse and underrepresented communities, to consider a career in sales. And so I think that all starts with us as leaders and mentors to make that happen. Because if we don't start earlier on and get to the high school and the college level, we're not going to be able to solve for the leadership or lack of female leadership long term. So I just want to throw that out there that, I believe we need to be having these conversations earlier on in people's careers, or, so that's one thing. But then when they get into, so they do decide to get into a career in sales, we've got to assure that they have the right training, that they have the right processes, the right structure, the right career path to retain them. And I think that's where we see the biggest drop off right now, as Randy mentioned, as women begin to progress through their career trajectory. There's this broken rung, and women are dropping off for a variety of different reasons, but burnout, the fact that organizations don't have policies and practices in place to be able to support them. They don't have the right training in place to assure their success. And so I think companies need to double down and make investments to be sure that they're career pathing and retaining the talent that they just spent so much time and so much money acquiring.
Yeah, such an important issue. What would you add on all of this, Randy?
Yeah, so I agree with everything that Heidi said, and then I'm also a proponent of bet on yourself. And so regardless of where I've been, I'm always looking at how I can invest in myself, how I can grow my network, who I can learn from. So I've been fortunate that I've been at companies where training and I've had opportunities to be promoted. But even outside of that, I just continue to bet on myself, right? Serial learner. And then I've never taken no for an answer, right? So I've always, had bosses tell me I'm one of the, as I was rising, I was one of the underrated or underestimated people on the team. Like I came out of nowhere because I was hired, and, on paper, I didn't look like everyone else, but got promoted very quickly. And like I said, that can be a strength. And so always be looking where you can make a move. So I said yes earlier on to like projects or taking on something. And I didn't let the voice in my head, all of us, even now, I'd be lying if I said sometimes I don't get imposter syndrome, right? When I'm tasked with something big or challenging or different. But I've never let that stop me. And I think that, some people, and especially women, we let imposter syndrome affect us more than men. There are also stats on that. I didn't research it before this, but it is true. It does seem to impact us more. And then I also remember reading somewhere that, women will look at a job application, for example, and if they don't meet all the requirements, they won't apply, right? Whereas males typically would. So it's how we view ourselves. And so I just encourage, and when I talk to women, I'm always like, bet on yourself. Go for it. What's the worst that can happen? No. Okay, next. What did you learn from that? Right. So I just think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. I think the confidence factor is an issue that women, have an issue with. And so I think betting in yourself and being a serial someone who's really focused on education is really important. Know your business. But the other thing that I would say as well, and I know this is a topic, Jesse, that we're going to cover, later on in the show, but I also believe that, mentorship and leveraging your network, and having individuals, reaching out to individuals so that they can support you on your journey is also a real important key to success. So you don't have to do this alone, right?
Yeah.
The women, especially women in leadership that are male allies, they do want you to succeed. People want to help. If you reach out to individuals in your network, I've never had anybody say, no, sorry, too busy, can't help you. I've never said, no, sorry, too busy, can't help you. And so, definitely leverage the sales community, sales organizations, and the mentors within your community and your organization that can help you along the way.
100%. I'm so glad you brought that up, and you've done some really great work with mentors, and mentorship. And another place you can join is the Women Wave community. I've already mentioned it. It's free, and both of them are in here and there. And I know people, break off and, meet each other from there, but it's really a central point for support for women in sales, marketing, business leadership, business ownership. But would love to have you join. Send me a DM if you'd like. I can send you a link. But with that, let's do a quick break for a couple messages from our sponsors. And then we are coming back with AI in sales, which I'm really excited to hear you talk on this, Randy. And then more on how can mentors guide, advise, and motivate salespeople. So let's get into all that. Be sure that you're scanning that QR code for Feeding Tampa Bay, remembering that tonight in the wee hours, Hurricane Milton is making its way through, unfortunately, and Tampa Bay is directly in line. So sending love to our friends there. You can click pause here, scan that QR code, and send some love to this legitimate organization that is going to be directly helping those in need of after the impact. So let's go ahead and hear from Cherry Assistant.
Check these emails. Wait, I need to write the script. Oh my god, I forgot to schedule all my content last week.
I know the chaos of running a one-person business can feel too much sometimes. Cherry Assistant has become my secret weapon to success. Having an actual niche assistant has been so game-changing. But since bringing on one of their virtual assistants, they have been handling all my nitty-gritty tasks, from DMing people on my socials to following up with leads, even doing the cold outreach for me. Plus, they help with all the tedious admin tasks like managing emails, scheduling appointments, reminding me of appointments. Just imagine the time that you're going to have when you have an actual niche virtual assistant helping you with all these things. So with Cherry Assistant, you're never going to have to worry about the little things again. You get on a call with them. That way they can actually gauge your business needs and they're going to help you fill the gaps. You go to cherrysystem.com, you can get on a call with one of them and they're going to help you find your person. Now you can actually finally free up some time to focus on building your empire.
I want to show you how to do a voicemail drop. And voicemail drops can be really creative ways to reach your audience. And, many of us are spending a lot of time on the phone making calls, but hey, I'm here over in marketing to report that you can do a mass voicemail drop. And let me show you how. Log into my account here, Reviting. The hard part about any campaign is knowing your audience and knowing what you're going to say to them. Definitely check out Lead Magic if you haven't already. So what I love about Lead Magic is their lead scraper. You can see that right here. Also, another thing are the technographics. Then import that into high level. So high level for me, it's white labeled, it's app.reveting.com. So when you go in here, you're going to want to, you can get your contacts in here however you want, with the ones that you want to do the voicemail drop with. Once you know who you're sending your voicemail drop to, create a new workflow from scratch. And you can add in your trigger, which would be the tag that you add. For me, and for this example, I'll go ahead and say tag added, and it will be anyone who downloads my free LinkedIn 5-day challenge workbook that's on my LinkedIn page. And if you get that, we'll go ahead and wait just for a minute, save action, and then we're going to do voicemail. All right, so now I need to get a voicemail and I need an audio file. And luckily I have this just like free online tool. You can go to 123apps or online-voice-recorder.com. You can see it on the screen. And I am just going to record a voicemail. Hey, it's Jessie Lezak. Wanted to follow up with you about the 5-day challenge workbook and course that you downloaded and see what you thought of it, if you've had a chance to complete it, and how I can support you on your journey to LinkedIn growth. Give me a call back anytime. My cell phone number is 510-335-9355. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. We'll move this in a little bit. Move that in just a tad. Save. Open so I can't see. So here is my recording. There it is. It's loading. Hey, it's Jessie Lezak. Wanted to follow up with you about the 5-day challenge workbook and course that you did. And that's how people will get into the voicemail drop. And I think you should try a voicemail drop too. And if you would like some support on that, I would love to help you. Just give me a call. You already heard my number in the recording, 510-335-9355, or you can email me at Jessie, just my first name, JESSIE @reveting.com. That's REVETING.com. Hope to help you with your voicemail drop here soon. Big thanks to our sponsors. And yeah, I would love to help people with high level. But I have to tell you, Heidi and Randy, I think I was mentioning it a little bit before in pre-show, but people right now are really wanting help with their videos. And so,
Yeah.
you know, where we normally have our regular packages with starting with people going live every week and then repurposing the live stream. At this point, some people already have podcasts. Not everybody wants to go live. So then we're just helping them create their videos that they're posting. And, you know, so if that's something that you want help with, either coaching on or service with, that's also something we're doing with people. But high level helps us with that in terms of posting across channels for our clients because we can have multiple accounts per client. But I digress. Let's get into topic 3, AI and sales. So Randy, talk to us about AI and sales and what are you doing and what should we be doing to improve our revenue outcomes?
Yeah, so first off, I just have to share a stat. Once again, geeky nerd here loves her data.
Love
You know,
it.
one of the things that concerns me about women is, you know, how women are a little bit laggard in adopting AI. And, you know, so I just encourage you to, you know, start in learning and practicing because you don't want to be left behind. But for revenue generation, there are just so many ways that you can get time back so you can, you know, spend more time doing the things that really move the needle to drive revenue generation. And so what I'm going to share with you are the things that I have personally done to get time back to help drive revenue. So one is if anyone is having to do RFPs, what I did with ChatGPT, I created a custom GPT. So it has, you know, our company's voice, you know, understands our products. And, you know, I also uploaded, you know, certain, you know, language in there. And literally some of our RFPs that used to take anywhere from 15 to 30 hours, not exaggerating. Healthcare is crazy. All the different things that you have to do. I got that down to hours. And in the last one that I did, was able to actually do it in an hour and a half. So that means my team and I can do things that are more important. And that's like scheduling the calls and having demos and all the things, pipeline generation, things that actually move the needle to drive revenue. The other thing that we, are using, AI for is marketing. So we do a lot of repurposing of our content. We record webinars, and so we take those transcripts, load them up, and can, once again, using the custom GPT that is in our brand voice, everything else, create some pieces very quickly. And they're about 80% there, right? So it only requires about 20% of us polishing our time on it. And once again, what used to take like 10 hours a week is down to an hour now of, the human expert looking and saying, hey, do I want to tweak? Did it take a bit of time to get the custom GPT there? 100%. And then my other favorite way is, I'm over sales, marketing, customer success, and I always talk about success leaves clues. And, taking transcripts and, from clients where customers have articulated value, loading that up and then asking Chat GPT to kind of riff and say, how can we change our messaging, and really using it from a creative, asking questions. And so we've been able to change our messaging. So we've seen some of our like open rates and campaigns have higher percentage because of the creativity that we're using in our messaging now. And those are just 3 ways that, I've used ChatGPT in my role to help. And so I just saw a question from Elizabeth. What's the difference between a custom GPT and an LLM? So an LLM is a language learning model. And so you at your organization may or may not have a database that, learns. And so like, for example, you may have a bot and it goes to a database and the bot answers a question based on the database, right? That's what a language learning model does. It can actually learn from a database and you can have it do certain tasks like a bot. A custom GPT is an actual like prompt that is customized so you can engage with it. So like I have a UR voice because I have different roles, customer success, marketing, sales, and then I have my fun 5 to 9 author where I have trained that GPT to do one task and one task only. And so I can interact with GPT to get an output. So that's the difference. So I hope that makes sense, Elizabeth. And if not, just DM me. You know where to find me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to walk through that with you.
That's awesome. I mean, all of that is really great information. I tried to type it all up in the comments. I don't know if you saw, and then like,
yeah, and a lot of companies have AI, like may have tools like, of course there's like Lavender use AI to help you write a better email. Their, Salesforce and HubSpot just released, AI in their tool, but I'm talking personally using AI for your job to help you, not the tools that you're using.
Yeah, I use a lot of AI really for like brainstorming and getting me going with like outlines, you know, but never a final product. Like you said, it could be 80% there.
Yeah. And it really is the prompt, and it is what makes it good, right? So just like in sales, you have to ask better questions, like in your disco, right? That's what it is with a prompt, right? You have to give it context, and women are really good at this. And that's why I really want to see more women using AI and what it can do for you. And there are fun things like if you have like a transcript or even a piece of content, whether it's like a case study or testimonial, you can load that in like the Notebook LLM, and it'll create a little like conversation that's almost like a mini podcast. Like depending how much your content is, it might be a minute, it might be 3 minutes. And so I'm writing a book and I uploaded like a chapter, and so it had like a podcast. Hey, Randi-Sue's talking about XYZ. And because of that back and forth conversation, it sparked ideas. So as crazy as it sounds, it really can help you with your creative thinking, because that gave me additional ideas that I can include in the book that would I've gotten there? Maybe, but it just sparked some things in me. So like I said, that's why I call it my sidekick. It's a superpower, it just helps me be better.
I love it. I'm all for AI, just got to remember garbage in, garbage out. You got to have good data. You got to feed it good stuff. And that's honestly how we run the business is at Reveting is we help people go live. Or at this point, we're meeting people on Zoom or even like giving them topics. And there's one guy who is just recording himself on his phone. But then we get the footage and we can take the transcript, make it a podcast. We can take the video, chop it up into multiple clips for multiple platforms. We can take the transcript and turn it into a recap for a newsletter, a blog, so many things, all with the power of AI and, of course, humans. But I would love to hear from more people in the comments on the chat. How are you using AI? And Heidi, I'm curious, how have you used AI?
Yeah, similarly to Randy, and I'm probably a late adopter to AI. I resisted it for a while. I do still believe that there needs to be more regulations, and the technology is evolving very quickly. So I think it will continue to get better and better. Upfront research and sort of developing some creative ideas are probably the key areas that I'm using today. But I guess call me old fashioned. I'm still a proponent of, having direct communications. It can help you with your upfront research and save time. Saving time on RFPs is huge. But I still believe people buy from people.
Yeah, absolutely. And personal branding will never get old. But yeah, on that, let's switch gears really quick to sum things up on our fourth topic, which is how can mentors guide, advise, and motivate salespeople? And we've done a lot of that already in this conversation. And again, people from the comments, keep us honest. We want to hear from you. What are you thinking? What do you have comments, questions on? But Heidi, how can mentors guide, advise, motivate, and help salespeople?
Yeah, I am so grateful to the mentors in my life who have helped me throughout my career. I don't think that I would have achieved the level of success that I had without both mentors and sponsors. And I differentiate those two things because I think a mentor is someone that you can share the good, the bad, the ugly, and a sponsor is someone who's going to speak up for you and advocate for you when you're not in the room, right? But I think in terms of how mentors can guide, advise, and motivate not just salespeople, but anyone in the business world, is one in career development. Mentors can help mentees identify and achieve their career goals and develop a broader perspective on different career opportunities. I think the mentors play a critical role in personal development, providing guidance and support to help mentees develop self-awareness and continuous improvement. Of course, learning, they can share their experiences, industry insights, practical tips, which can help mentees potentially avoid some of the pitfalls that you may have experienced earlier in your career, which I think is a good thing. We spoke about confidence earlier. I think having a mentor can help with confidence and imposter syndrome. They can help mentees increase their confidence and self-efficacy. So I think that's really important. Of course, networking, I mentioned it earlier, is an absolute key, building your network in your community, but mentors can facilitate introductions and open doors. We all know that you have a much greater propensity of getting a job or closing a deal when you have a warm introduction. So leveraging your mentor from that perspective is super important. And then also just in developing soft skills, right? They can help mentees develop their soft skills by providing a place to learn, a safe place to learn and share some of the challenges that they may be experiencing in their careers. So I think it's important if you reach out to a mentor as a mentee, make a list of people that you admire, that you think that could help you. And but it is important for you to approach this relationship with very clear goals and objectives, and then follow through on the mentor's advice. We're all busy. We're all want to help and support people, but if you feel like you're, as a mentor, if you're giving your time to someone that really isn't following through on some of the guidance and advice you gave them, then I don't know, it might create a wedge. So set clear objectives, and but people want to help. They do.
What would be some examples of those objectives that you might set?
Well, I think from career development, understanding where you're at in your career today, and then maybe what type of career trajectory that you may want to go through in your industry is really important. So, you may say, all right, I'm an SDR today, within 6 months, I want to step into an SDR leadership role, and then I may want to pivot to an AE. Well, okay, that's all great, right? This is just one example. That's great that you want to do that, but what do you need to do, and what kind of development do you need to get from point A to point B to point B to point C, right? And so working with, mentors who have been there and done that and have gone through, the career path themselves can provide some exceptional guidance of exactly what maybe training that you need to do, what kind of certifications you need to get, what you need to do within the construct of your organization to assure that you're getting recognized for the work that you're doing and that you have a voice. So lots of things that I think that, but career development is just one thing that comes to mind immediately.
Yeah, such a good point. What would you add on all of this, Randy?
So it's a little bit of a segue, but I think it's important, and that's the difference between self-worth and self-confidence. I mean, the reason why we suffer from imposter syndrome is that we don't know who we are at our core. And one of the things I'm super passionate about is mindset, because that's where everything starts. And so the thing that I will stop and say, don't talk that way, is I've had SDRs like, well, I'm just an SDR. I'm like, no, what you do is valuable. So I'm telling you, I don't care what your title is, what you bring to the table is valuable. Know your worth. And so I just want to add that because I think Heidi did a fabulous job.
Amplify, know your worth.
Yeah, such a great point.
Yes.
Well, speaking of all of this and amplifying, we still have the Guru of the Week. So we're going to have 4 Gurus of the Week this week because it's a double header and we've got an episode still tonight. But I'm so glad we could squeeze both of you in daytime today. Especially, we just got booked up and I wanted this conversation to happen. And I'm glad we did. And you had the idea about, donating. And so everyone make sure that if you haven't already, check out Feeding Tampa Bay. There's a website there. You can give, $5, $10, whatever works for your budget. And just help some people out who are in the line of Hurricane Milton that's coming tonight, tomorrow morning. But we have the Guru of the Week we need to get into. And of course, the Guru of the Week is someone who walks the walk and talks the talk on LinkedIn, someone that is like either an up-and-comer or a big name that the guests on WinsDay think that you all should go follow if you're not already, to diversify your LinkedIn feed and get some content from some new content creators. So I'm going to do a drum roll. I'm going to pull myself out of the screen. So it's just going to be the two of you. If you could both tell us a little bit about your Gurus of the Week. So drum roll. Let me bring them in here. Who is it going to be? Here they are.
Do you want me to go first, Heidi?
Yeah, go first, Randy.
Okay, awesome. So I wanted to shout out Bailey Ramsdell. She's an account executive at DocuSign. And she has a little saying, hashtag Tea with B. But one of the reasons why I want everyone to go follow her is that she has shown, resiliency and grit. When things were crazy the last 18 months, she had experienced, not one, two, but three layoffs. And I think it's really important that, she not only got up, was very positive on LinkedIn, but, rebounded, and she's doing great now. But, that resiliency is something that is so key, not just in sales, but in life in general. And we all get knocked down, but it's how you get up and how you respond. And I just love her to death. And so I can't wait to shout her out. I was holding my Women in Sales post today, so I could shout her out as someone to follow and also as the Guru of the Week. So go ahead and follow her.
Yeah, and my Guru of the Week is Sarah Rodriguez. I actually met Sarah through Jesse's group, and then began to follow her on LinkedIn. And I just absolutely love her. I don't think that I've seen anyone that is more of an advocate and supporter of women. She responds and comments on all posts. She's totally active and engaged. And Sarah, in one of the cohorts that we did this year, volunteered her time to be a mentor for Girls Who Sell Academy's Explore Sales program. And I got such incredibly great feedback from the mentees that she supported through our 10-week program. I know Sarah's been experiencing some recent career challenges, and but I love to see that she's stepping up and beginning to really advocate for herself more actively and more vocally on LinkedIn. And so please go and follow her. If you know of any potential career opportunities that Sarah's background would be a good fit for, I really encourage you to support her in any way possible. So Sarah, thank you for all you do for women in sales.
Absolutely. And I'll echo that. I don't know Bailey. I'm going to go follow her. I just tagged her in the comments, but Sarah Rodriguez is amazing. It's great having her in the Women Wave community and both of you. She just said, thank you, Heidi.
Love you, Sarah.
Yes, I love you, Sarah. You're the best. And now we get to give away some prizes. So since you're here, Sarah, or anyone else, make sure that you are entering to win those prizes. And I'm just going to go ahead and start giving them away because we are out of time. I know we're 4 minutes over. So as I start to give this prize away, let's see. We'll start with high level. We've got 5 entries. So who's it going to go to? We've got a few names in there. It definitely won't go to Reveting. I don't know. We must have said high level in the comments. Shawanda, you are the winner of the high level backpack. So we will be sending you either a DM or following up with you on LinkedIn where you submitted to collect your details. Or if you're watching, go to reveting.com/win. Give us the size of your shirt and your address so we can submit those to high level. And thank you to Cherry Assistant for helping with those prizes. So let me go into the next prize. We're not going to give away revenue just yet. We're going to give away hashtag personal branding. There are 3 on there. There's Beth, Olivia, and Shawanda. Who's going to win 1 month free of the Taking Up Space program? Olivia, congratulations.
Olivia.
Can't wait to connect with you and put you in our group DM of participants. And we're meeting 3 days a week. Let me uncover my face and we'll do the final prize, which is both of your prizes. So put in hashtag revenue to enter to win. We've got Heidi's book, Heels to Deals, or yes, I said that correctly. And then 1 hour of consultation, and same with Randy, 1 hour of consultation. So let's give that away. You've got like 2 seconds to put hashtag revenue in. Let me pull that up. So I'm going to give that away. There are 4 entries at the moment. We've got I saw Elizabeth, Olivia, Beth. I don't know if I see the fourth yet. Oh, there's the fourth. There we go. We have Gemma L. Congratulations. We'll need to connect and get your information so we can connect you with the winners. I don't know. Maybe you're already connected with the winners. And that's
Gemma is actually on my board of directors, my advisory
I love
board.
that.
So I love her. She's amazing.
She is amazing. Congratulations, Gemma. Well, you're going to get a meeting with both of these ladies. Sounds like you're already meeting with Heidi anyway, and also Randy. But before we go, I would love for both of you to just give your pitch. Like, can people reach out to you? Where can they reach you? Why should they reach out to you? Who's your audience? Tell us how we can support you. I'm going to go ahead and put up the Feeding Tampa Bay QR code one more time. But Heidi, could you just share a wrap up and how people can reach you?
Yeah, I'm just super accessible on LinkedIn. So if anything that I said today resonated with you, I'd love an opportunity to connect and support you any way possible. It's Heidi Solomon-Orlick on LinkedIn. And if any of you are in organizations that may have some interest to being a corporate sponsor of Girls Who Sell, I would greatly appreciate it. We're changing lives and building diversity in sales. So please reach out as well.
That's incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah, you definitely are. And how about you, Randy?
Yeah, so the easiest place to find me is LinkedIn. It's Randi-Sue Deckard. I do check my DMs, but would love for you to engage with me. I have a Women in Sales daily post going out right now, but I'm really passionate about leadership, sales, and mindset. That's what I post on, and maybe 5% healthcare, but majority is leadership and sales and mindset. So
thank you both. I really appreciate that. And congratulations to all the winners. And tonight, be sure to tune in. We've got Elizabeth McEwen and Lauren Brownstone. Both of them came to the Women Wave first annual retreat this summer. And both of them are sales enablement people. So we're going to be talking about sales enablement, women in sales enablement. So it's going to be a really great discussion. Can't wait for that. Hopefully you can all tune in. But Heidi and Randy, thank you so much for your time.
Happy Women in Sales Month.
Yay.
Absolutely. Happy Women in Sales Month. I'm going to go ahead and close us out with a video.